Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Brains at Work, designing work for every brain. I'm Carla, your host. I work with people and organizations to change and redesign the way we work one neuron at a time. Today, I want to bring to you a common topic that you may have encountered yourself. Have you ever worked in a multicultural context and all of a sudden you are facing one of the most common difficulties, which is the understanding of things that each one of us has belonging to a different culture? There are some cultures where, for example, the level of context that is given together with a brief, together with a project, together with a request is very broad.
In the United States, for example, whenever somebody talks, gives a lot of context, a lot of information on how that idea was brought forward, how it was born, what was the other dependencies, etc., etc.
So that everybody in the room may feel a little bit bored, but also it's very well informed and everybody is on the same page. However, when it happens to work with other cultures, for example, with the Middle East, or even with Asia, with Japan, with Korea, these are cultures where the sense of community is extremely relevant, is extremely engraved, it's very important, and therefore everybody has a very spread understanding of what things are and what concepts means. So there is less need for context whenever you are in a business environment or even in a social environment, by the way. There is very little sharing over common practices because everybody is supposed to know them already. And this generates a lot of discomfort in business context where you are working with colleagues that are coming from this part of the world or that other part of the world, because all of a sudden there is an uneven level of communication among the team.
I want to raise this point because if this is already a difficulty that most brains are experiencing, whether they are typical or not, this is even more true for neurodiverse brains.
When we look at neurodiversity, this comes especially within the spectrum of autism with a higher difficulty of understanding the language, understanding the meaning of language, in particular, the figurative meaning of stuff. When it comes to irony, when it comes to non-first degree level of understanding of the language, is not simply literally what is written on the page. For some individuals, it can be very hard to make that shift and read the intention behind the plain text. And this is where these multicultural environments can become even more challenging for neurodiverse individuals. And when even if you know well the culture, still it can be a challenge. So what can we do? You may be thinking, yeah, okay, fair enough. There is this problem, but now what
do I do with that? What can I do for that?
What you can do is to provide the context. In this sense, the American way, let's say, of giving a lot of context, previous history, and grounding to concepts and situations that exist in the present is actually much more inclusive than the opposite. Yes, it can be boring. Yes, it can be, redundant. Fair enough. But also it's very inclusive and is a very good way to allow everyone with different cognitive styles, because there are people that function very well with little information, and there are people who need to function, to think straight. They need to have a broader understanding of the topic. Adopting this way of providing context, providing background, providing previous information, better if it is in the form of a pre-read for a meeting, it's amazing because you are allowing every single brain in the room to understand, to get the vision, to be aligned on the scope of work, to be aligned on expectation, to manage the room. That's a simple trick that can really make a huge difference when we are talking about business, when we are talking about working with other cultures, but also when we are talking about working with every brain and empowering the cognitive abilities of each one of your colleagues in the room. So, I hope this can work for you. Let me know if you have tried, share your experience. I know it's specific, but also very actionable. So I am hopeful that you will give it a try and you will come back to let us know how did it go. And I will see you in the next episode.
When people turn to healthcare for weight loss, they're looking for real support. That's why more people are choosing OrderlyMeds.com. Orderly Meds connects you with real doctors and access to proven GLP-1 medications like semaglutide and tirzepatide. No guessing, just a more supportive experience. And all shipped directly to your door in discreet packaging. Do your research. Ask questions. Then visit OrderlyMeds.com/podcast for an exclusive offer. That's OrderlyMeds.com/podcast. Individual results may vary, not medical advice. Eligibility required. See site for details.